As I entered my junior year of high school, I wanted to be what was known as a black shirt. This was a title given to a defensive football player starter on the varsity team at my high school. And if you were a starter on the defense at that time, a school that had won 8 division championships out of 9, and you played defense, you wanted one of those shirts. It wasn't that big of a shirt. It was just kind of glossy, but it was just black. Our school colors were green and white. So clearly, if you wore one, people knew you were about that business on that defense. So coming into my junior year, though, there was one big problem. Happened to be a guy named Kenny. And this guy, Kenny, was a senior. He was coming back as a senior. And just thinking of the hierarchy of school sports, coaches tend to favor the upperclassmen over the lowerclassmen. Not only that, he was bigger, he was faster, and he was considerably stronger than me as I was coming out of my sophomore year, and him, going in my junior year, him going in his senior year. Insert a man named Coach Curtis, Coach Overton Curtis. Rest in peace, Mr. Curtis. Rest in peace, Coach. I passed away in 92 or 93, I believe, in a car accident. He enters my world and says to me, in his own way, son, you're going to have to get faster. You're going to have to get bigger. You're going to have to get stronger if you're going to compete on the varsity level. I was like, yeah, Coach, I know that. I'm working on it. He's like, if you come up here to the gym every summer day, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. when we open the gym, I'll show you exactly what you need to do to get bigger, stronger, faster over the summer so you can compete your junior season. He didn't guarantee me the black shirt. He just said so you can compete. By the way, he wasn't just a football coach. He was also a basketball coach and a track coach. So the invitation was there. But it's summertime. I'm 15. All the distractions, movies, friends, TV, all of the distractions were there. But he said, I am not going to do the work. You have to do the work. A lot of times we say what we want. We say we've got goals. We say we want to do these certain things in our lives. But we aren't willing to make sacrifices. We aren't willing to give up a little bit of comfort in order to get where we want to go. I did show up. I showed up and I did the work. It was hard work. He had me doing things that I hadn't been accustomed to. I was early in my days of weightlifting and training physically. But what's interesting was I earned the black shirt that fall, much to my surprise. I expected to, but I didn't expect to, if you know what I mean. I put the work in, and then I was comfortable letting the result be what the result was. I got the black shirt. I went on to start many, many games that season. And I want to make a point about successful people. A common trait, a common thread in the people who seem to reach the highest levels in their life, whether they be actors, whether they be athletes, whether they be successful business people, bloggers, social media influencers, parents, teachers, all walks of life. There's something that they have in common. And it's a phrase that I call that they're willing to do the reps. They're willing to do the work, the real work, the hard work. They want to take a shortcut at times, but they know that the shortcut won't get them where they want to go. I love a quote by Will Smith, and I want to say he said it on an interview when he was on 20 Minutes or 60 Minutes. I'm sorry, I think it was a 60 Minutes interview, one of those types of shows. And the interviewer said to him, why do you think, something to the effect of, why do you think you have been more successful than most of the actors in Hollywood. And he said something to the effect of, I've actually viewed myself as slightly above average in talent, slightly above average in talent. But he says where I excel is in a ridiculous, sickening work ethic. He goes on to say that when he said and he said it multiple times. I ended up finding multiple interviews because it was so fascinating what he said. And by the way, if you don't know who Will Smith is, you should, but one of the most fascinating guys on social media, on screen, off screen, to me. You don't have to like him, but fascinating guy. His thought processes, the mindset of what it's taken to go from being, a music artist, a rapper, to acting, to just the way he thinks philosophically, just to me is fascinating. But he said, his mindset is that if we're both on two treadmills side by side, one of us is going to die before I get off. He's like, I am not getting off this treadmill until you do. I mean, his mindset was like, someone's got to die before I get off this thing. Like, I'm not going to lose. While you're eating, I'm working. While you're sleeping, I'm working. I mean, that's the commitment, that's the drive. One of the problems that I find in all of the years, I'm blessed to be in my 29th year of business. I played sports, graduated from college. I've done the work. I've had ups and downs in business, in parenting, in life, just like you. The problem today, though, is people that are complaining, people that are stuck, people that aren't where they want to be. And it's okay to not be where you want to be in the moment, right? We all have a past. We all have to deal with our now, but we have to have a vision for the future. The book I read says, without a vision, people perish. Doesn't mean you're going to die in a moment, but you're going to perish in self-pity. You're going to perish in regret. You're going to perish in what ifs. So many of us are sticking their toe in the water. In my field today, we're in our 9th, going on 10th year, running a marketing agency, digital marketing agency, helping businesses catch up with contemporary marketing. And they're so audaciously naive in some regard, and then audaciously stupid in others, to think that this world of digital is temporary, that social media is temporary, that Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and all these platforms are temporary. This is the new contemporary modern marketing channels today. They're no more native today than what was native back then, which were chambers of commerce and newspapers and radio and billboard. But everyone wants to go back to that and live in the comfort of their past successes. Today, they're sticking their toe in the water. I wonder how well you learned how to swim. If you know how to swim, how well you'd have learned how to swim by just sticking your toe in the water. Where are you sticking your toe in the water right now on the things that you want in life? You got to get all in. Stop pretending it's easy. Stop pretending there's a shortcut. Stop pretending that the person who you admire got there overnight or had some handouts to get there. Right now, I'm learning a new skill. And the only time allotment for me to learn and practice this new skill happens to be 4:00 in the morning. I tend to wake up previously to making the commitment to learn this skill. I previously woke up at about 5:30 or so, 5:20, 5:30 to get my daughter off to the bus stop. Before she had to go to school at that time, it was generally 5:45, 6:15 at the latest. But when I look at the rest of the schedule, now the question is how bad do I want this thing? How bad do I want this skill? What am I willing to commit? What am I willing to give up? And I'm going to get to 4 points in just a moment of what it actually really takes when someone says, what does it really take to get the work done? but stop pretending it's easy. Stop pretending that there's a secret bullet. And guess what? Be willing to accept the pain. When I decided to take what Coach Curtis said to me and show up at 9 o'clock in the morning, it wasn't easy. Not only was it easy, it was easy to get there at 9 o'clock. That wasn't the problem. The work was hard. The work was hard. It was draining, but it was one of my earliest lessons at becoming one of the best that I could be. So step number one, you've got, in order to get to where, from where you are to where you want to be, you need a coach. You need someone who's walked the path that you've walked. Sure, you can read 1,000 books. I got plenty of them behind me. You can Google 8 billion pages on the internet, find some advice there. You're generally going to find, half-built bridges, open loops, stuff that's just enough to get you a small result, but it's not game-changing result. You need someone who's gone all the way to the distance. If I wanted to become an actor today, I'd seek out someone who's already majorly successful, figure out how to pay them whatever they wanted so I could learn it. I don't want to sit there and figure it out on my own. After you get a coach, you got to do what they tell you to do. Step 2. I don't understand how people will hire a coach or call someone their mentor and then fail to do what they tell you to do. It reminds me of a story, 2002. I, at that time, was in the mortgage industry, and I was using a certain marketing channel and strategy that was absolutely crushing it. At that time, I'm in the top 10 or 15 of salespeople, at that time, loan officers, mortgage originators at the company of about 150 people. I was asked to give a training and a talk to, 50, 60, 80 loan officers. I can't remember the total number in the room. And they wanted me to dissect this strategy so that other people could use it. First of all, that's one of the little small area of success that I think a lot of people are stuck on. Like, nothing you're great at technically belongs to you. Nothing you've learned from someone else is your idea. The concept of that marketing strategy that I used had been passed on to me by a buddy of mine 2 years prior. I tweaked and modified it to work for me, but I didn't originate the idea. A lot of people today, they think, well, I'm not going to share that with you if I don't get paid. It's a bunch of bull. It's just going to keep you stuck. So anyway, I'm teaching this strategy. Someone says they want to do it. They want to follow it exactly the way I laid it out. Anyway, fast forward a couple months later, this gentleman comes up to me at the company. He says, hey, I followed that strategy, but I didn't get the same results you were talking about. And I said, well, let me tell you something. What I know for sure is if you followed the strategy exactly the way I said to do it, there's no possible way you wouldn't have gotten the result. Without getting into the nitty gritty of the marketing strategy, when I taught it, I said, step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this, step 4, do this, etc. Do it exactly this way and you'll get these results. We ended up in a conversation, and as we unpacked it, he broke 3. He violated 3 of the rules. You know why? Because he thought he had a better way. I like it, but let me tweak it this way. Well, I don't want to mail that many pieces of content or that many letters because it was a direct mail strategy. I want to do it 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. Made up his own rules. So step number 2 in this idea of getting from where you are to where you want to be, how do you lock into the reps? You'll do the reps if you follow the steps of the coach who's been there, done that, and proven the process. If I wanted to learn how to become a world-class basketball player, you bet your bottom dollar I'm trying to get around Kobe Bryant or LeBron today. If it was back a little while ago, I'm getting around Michael Jordan, right? Number 3, when you do the work, be willing to experience the pain, but then get up from the pain and review your results. When you fall down, when you fail, when you hit hardships, be willing to take a look back at the result so that you can tweak and modify for the next time you go forward. You know, in sports, growing up in sports, we always looked at game film. We always needed to look back at the game we played so that we could identify both the good things and the bad things. The good things, so we could say, hey, we need to do more of that. That worked well. And the bad things, which was always the most embarrassing on Saturday morning, was when the coach would hit rewind on the VCR back then, by the way, you guys, VCR, the rewind button when you missed a tackle, the rewind button when you didn't cover, I played linebacker, the rewind button when you let the tight end get behind you on a pass, is when you look back at the work, you're there to identify what went well and what didn't go so well. And gosh, dog it, when things get tough and you start to cry and you're hurting and you're in pain, do what my man Eric Thomas says, which is don't cry to give up, cry to keep going. Crying's okay. It's no big deal. I'm doing a workout right now. I'm doing a new workout program. Hardest program I've probably done in 2 or 3 years. I've been in a little bit of a 2 or 3 year kind of comfort zone. Put on a few more pounds than I would have liked the last 2 or 3 years, all because I didn't follow my 3 workout rules, my 3 nutrition rules, my 3 diet rules. No big deal. Not massively overweight, but I know I'm outside of the comfort level where I want to be. So I don't go do something easy like walk on a treadmill for 35, 40, 50 minutes a day. I mean, I could, but it's not going to get me the results I want though in the time frame that I want them. So therefore, I'm going through a painful process. And when it gets hard and you want to quit, Eric Thomas says, don't cry to give up, cry to keep going. Step number 4. Pare back what didn't work, do more of what did. Pare back what didn't work, do more of what did. Seemingly simple advice, seemingly simple, but don't hop around. My point is, don't hop around. There's so many people that come to me and they're trying this thing and they're trying that thing. And today we have like attention deficit strategic disorder. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a marketer, you're in sales, you're trying everything. Stop trying to be the master of everything. Perfect one strategy, perfect one vehicle. I'm not doing 18 different workouts. I'm working out with one trainer and his variety of programs. I'm not going through and saying, well, let me try this trainer this week and let me try this trainer next week and etc. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. Doing the reps is about the work, but you can't do the work if you don't have a plan. And you can't just make up a plan if you've never been there. You need to find a coach. You need to do exactly what they tell you to do. You got to stop putting your toe in the water. Stop pretending it's easy. When it hurts, it's okay to cry, but don't cry to give up. Cry to keep going. Always review your results. Always be willing to confront the truth, because that will help you get better. And then the key to success is do more of what worked and less of what didn't. I hope this helped. Started with a story about football, but it applies to life, business, entrepreneurship, marketing, sales, parenting. I think about raising my kids and stepkids, now grandkids. Do more of what worked, less of what didn't. I hope this has been helpful to you today. If it has been, and you are watching on our YouTube channel, hit subscribe, turn the notification bell on. If you're watching on Instagram, be sure to follow, like, comment, and share it. If you'd like to hear more of this stuff, thank you for hanging out on this episode of the MindShift podcast. I'll talk to you soon.